Hi children, good morning. In my last session, I have discussed with you about levels of organization, various levels of organizations such as cellular level of organizations, organ system level of organization, organ system level of organization, tissue grade of organization. All four I have discussed, and in say organ level of organization I have discussed about simple, incomplete and complete digestive system, and open and closed circulatory system all discussed in the organ system level of organization. And today we are going to see a new criteria for classification of animals, that is diploplastic and triploplastic. What is diploplastic and triploplastic? Children, the embryo only developed into the young one in all sexually reproducing organisms. The embryo is formed of a ball of cells called morula. The morula arranged into a form layers called ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm, like that. From this ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm layers, the organs are developed and form a complete structure of organism, and the organism increase in its size and weight and become a fetus and come out and develop as a young one, isn't it? This is what the sequence we are used to see in our developmental stages. Okay, so based on this layer, some animals they have only two layers, that is ectoderm and endoderm alone. Some animals they are having three layers, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Okay, during embryonic development, or let's see what is meant by diploplastic and triploplastic. Based on this, if the animal have only two layers such as ectoderm and endoderm, they are coming under the category of diploplastic. And if the animal possesses three germ layers in its embryonic development, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, they are coming under the category triploplastic. Okay, so let's enter into the text, children. During embryonic development, the tissues and organs of animal originate from two or three embryonic germ layers. Okay, right, what I said is correct, children. During embryonic development, what is mean by embryonic development? It is nothing but, see, in sexual reproduction, the male gamete fuse with the female gamete and form a zygote. Zygote undergo mitotic cell division and form a ball of cells called morula. And these morulas consist of a group of cells. These cells are arranged in a layer. These cells are arranged in a layer such as diploplastic and triploplastic. If the cells are arranged in two layers, that is called ectoderm, endoderm, and from these two layers the cells are developed into organs. The cells are developed into organs. Okay, if it is have a three germ layers like ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. From the cells of these three germ layers are developed into organs and form a whole organism. That's what. Then on the basis of the origin and development, animals are classified into two categories, diploplastic and triploplastic. Animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers, the external ectoderm and internal endoderm, are called diploplastic animals. In these animals, the ectoderm give rise to the epidermis, that is outer layer of the body wall, and endoderm give rise to the gastrodermis, that is tissues lining the gut cavity. An undifferentiated layer present between the ectoderm and endoderm is called the mesoglea. Example, corals, jellyfish, sea anemone, etc. So in the animals which are having a two germ layers in its body wall like ectoderm and endoderm, they are called diploplastic animal. In these animals, the ectoderm gives rise to epidermis, that is outer layer of the body wall, and endodermis gives rise to gastrodermis, tissue lining the gut cavity. An undifferentiated layer present between the ectoderm and endoderm is the mesoglea. Some layers are present which are differentiated into any structure, that is called the undifferentiated layer, which is present in between the ectoderm and endoderm, and this layer is called mesoglea. So this diploplastic animals, example for the diploplastic animals are corals, jellyfish, sea anemone, etc. Animals in which the developing embryo has three germinal layers are called triploplastic animals and consist of outer outer ectoderm. From the ectoderm, skin, hair, neuron, nail, teeth, etc. are developed. Inner endoderm, from the endoderm, gut, lung, liver are developed. And middle mesoderm, from the mesoderm, muscle, bone, heart are developed. So, since the animal consists of 3 germ layers in its body wall, they are called triploplastic animals. Then we have discussed what are the organs developed from each layer. Also it is given what are the organs developed from ectoderm, what are the organs developed from endoderm and mesoderm all. Most of the triploplastic animals show organ system level of organization. Example, flatworms or to chordates or belongs to the triploplastic animals. You can see children, diploplastic and triploplastic animal. Okay, the germinal layers in the figure. Next, pattern of symmetry. What is mean by symmetry? Symmetry means what? Dividing into 2 equal parts. It is in general. We can speak about symmetry. Okay, so dividing anything into 2 equal parts, then it is what included symmetry, we can say. So here symmetry means what? Symmetry is the body arrangement in which parts that lie on opposite side of an axis are identical. That is, the parts of the animal in the opposite side of the central axis are identical. An animal's body plan result from the animal's pattern of development. An animal's body plan result from the animal pattern of development. Based on the animal's pattern of development, animal's body plan also will be like that. The simplest body plan is seen in sponges. They do not display symmetry and are asymmetrical. Such animals lack a definite body plan or are irregular shaped, and any plan passing through the center of the body does not divide them into 2 equal halves. So, example, sponges. An asymmetrical body plan is also seen in adult gastropods like snails also. So, asymmetrical animals. The simplest body plan is what? Asymmetrical, which are seen in the sponges. In sponges, they lack a definite body plan. They don't have any body plan or any arrangement of body. So, or irregular shaped and any plan passing through the center of the body does not divide them into 2 equal halves. Example, sponges. An asymmetrical body plan is also seen in the snail also, gastropod. Next, symmetrical animals have paired body parts that are arranged on either side of the plan passing through the central axis. So, if we take symmetrical animals, the central axis run through the center. On both the side, the body parts are arranged equally in external structure. See, take our body, we can take through central axis through the head, from the head through the center of the nose, and it passed through the center of the chest, abdomen, and in between the legs it pass. If we cut through this central axis, we will get 2 equal halves on both the side of the central axis. See, on either side, 2 half forehead, 1 ear on either side. 1 ear, same way, eyes on left side, 1 eyes on right side. Same way, 1 nose, 1 nostrils on left side, 1 nostrils on the right side. Half of the mouth on the right side, half of the mouth on the left side. So, like that, 1 hand, 1 thoracic cavity, 1 abdominal cavity, 1 leg, 1 hand on one side, another on the right side 1 part, and the same way left side another 1 part. So, when we cut the animal through the central axis, opposite to the central axis, the organs are located very similar. Okay, children, this is called radial symmetry. This is called what? Symmetry. Symmetrical animal have paired body parts that are arranged on either side of a plan passing through the central axis. When any plan passing through the central axis of the body divides an organism into 2 identical parts, it is called what? Radial symmetry. Please note down the point, children. When any plan, but the plan should pass through the central axis. When any plan which are passing through the central axis of the body. This divide the organism into two identical parts, and it is called what? Radial symmetry. So then such radially symmetrical animals have a top and bottom side, but no dorsal and ventral side, no right and left side. Such radially symmetrical animal have a either top or bottom side only, but not a dorsal or ventral or right or left. Okay, they have a body plan in which the body parts are organized in a circle around an axis. Okay, so how the body parts are arranged in such an animals? They have a body plan in which the body parts are organized in a circle around an axis. It is the principal symmetry in diploplastic animals. Cnidarians such as sea anemone and corals are radially symmetrical. However, triploplastic animals like echinoderms have 5 plans of symmetry, and so pentamerous radial symmetry. So what is pentamerous radial symmetry? See, echinoderms, they are triploplastic animals. They have 5 arms. So then it is called what? Pentamerous radial symmetry, right? So you could clear about radial symmetry when any plan through the central axis, it divide the body into two equal halves. That is called what? Radial symmetry. Such radially symmetrical animals have a top bottom side and not a dorsal or ventral or right or left side all. Okay children. So next we are entering, so we have discussed about asymmetrical and radially symmetrical. Next we are entering into the biradially symmetrical. Animals which possess two pairs of symmetrical sides are said to be biradially symmetrical. Biradial symmetry is a combination of radial and bilateral symmetry as seen in ctenopause. So biradial symmetry have seen in the animals of ctenopause. There are only two plans of symmetry, one through the longitudinal and sagittal axis and the other through the longitudinal and transfer axis. Okay, these are the two types of symmetry seen in this animals. Example, jellyfish. Animals which have two similar halves on either side of the central plan. So bilateral symmetry. So it is an advantageous type of symmetry. Which is the advantageous type of symmetry? Bilateral symmetry. That is through the central axis on both the side, through one central axis, through any one plan alone we can cut the organism into two equal halves. Okay, so this is called bilateral symmetry, and this is the advantageous type of symmetry in triploplastic animals, which help in seeking food, locating mates and escaping from predators more efficiently. Animals that have dorsal and ventral sides, anterior and posterior and right and left sides are bilaterally symmetrically and exhibit cephalization, that is formation of head, in which the sensory and brain structure are concentrated at the anterior end of the animal. Okay children. Next is coelom. What is coelom? Another one criteria to consider the classification of animal. Okay, first one is which level of organization it is. Based on that they are classifying the animal. And next one is what? Yes, right. Triploplastic or diploplastic. Next one is what type of symmetry it is. According to that we can classify the animals. Next, whether the coelom is present or not. If it is present, whether it is pseudocoelom or true coelom. So based on that we can classify the animals into three types: acoelomate, eucoelomate and pseudocoelomate. What is acoelomate? A means no as per the biology. There is no coelom in the body of organism. Those animals are called what? Acoelomate. Okay, and animals which have coelom like cavity, but it is not a true coelom, that is called pseudocoelomate. Eucoelomate, the animal which possesses a true coelom are called eucoelomatic animal. Let's see what is coelom. Coelom is nothing but a gap or a cavity present between the body wall and the digestive tract is called coelom. Okay children, you imagine a cylinder like structure, our body like a cylinder. Okay, so this cylinder outer layer is our skin, bone, muscle, etc. all, and inside the cylinder we are inserting one long pipe in the center, towards the center. So you know children, the pipe has two openings, one end on both the ends. Okay, like that we will consider as our digestive tract. One end is considered as mouth, another one considered as a anus. Okay, so now you imagine cylinder is our external structure of body. Inside the cylinder whole empty cavity is there, you know very well. In that we are inserting a pipe. The mouth, the pipe has two ends, one is mouth, another one is anus. Okay, so around the pipe there is and still empty cavity is there. So the empty cavity between the digestive tract and the body wall is called what? Coelom. Okay, coelom is mesodermal origin. Coelom is mesodermal origin. Okay, based on the presence or absence of coelom, animals are classified. Okay, the presence of body cavity or coelom is important in classifying animals. Most animals possess a body cavity between the body wall and the alimentary canal and is lined with mesoderm. This is very, very important. What the coelom must consist? The coelom should lined with mesodermal layer of germ layers. Okay, if the coelom lined with mesoderm, then the coelom is said to be eucoelom or true coelom. Animals which do not possess a body cavity are called acoelomate. If the animal does not possess any body cavity in its body, they are called acoelomate. Since there is no body cavity in these animals, their body is solid without a perivisceral cavity. This restricts the free movement of internal organ. Example, flatworms. Okay, since there is no body cavity, in these animals their body is solid without perivisceral cavity, not perivisceral cavity, and this restricts the free movement of internal organs. Since the body is solid, the internal organs cannot move freely. Example, flatworms. So there is no body cavity at all. There is no coelom in its body. In some animals, the body cavity is not fully lined by the mesodermal epithelium. Body cavity is present. It is not a solid. Body cavity is present, but it is not lined with what? Mesodermal epithelium. But the mesoderm is formed as scattered pouches between the ectoderm and the endoderm. But the mesoderms are formed as a scattered pouch between the ectoderm and endoderm. Such a body cavity is called pseudocoel and is filled with pseudocoelomic fluid. Animals that possess a pseudocoel are called what? Pseudocoelomate. Example, roundworms. The pseudocoelomic fluid in the pseudocoelom act as hydrostatic skeleton and allow free movement of the visceral organ and for circulation of nutrition. Okay, animals that possess pseudocoel are called what? Pseudocoelomate. Animals which does not possess any coelom in its body and the species are formed as a solid and it prevent the free movement of internal organ is called acoelomate. Animal which possess coelom, that is body cavity, but it is not lined with mesodermal layer, but the mesoderm is present as batches in between the ectoderm and endoderm, and such a coelom are called pseudocoelomate and the animals are called pseudocoelomic animal or pseudocoelomate. Example, roundworm. The pseudocoelomic fluid in the pseudocoelom act as a hydrostatic skeleton and allow the free movement of visceral organ and for circulation of nutrition. So this will allow it because there is a cavity, no, like acoelomate, there won't be a solid structure in the place of coelom. It is cavity is present, but it is not, a thing is what not present, the mesoderm. Okay, so there is a cavity. Since there is a cavity, the visceral organs are getting free movement in this region. Okay, and and for circulation of nutrient. Next one is eucoelom or true coelom. It's a fluid filled cavity that develop within the mesoderm and is lined by mesodermal epithelium called peritoneum. Such animals with a true body cavity are called coelomate or eucoelomate. Based on the mode of formation of coelom. Okay, based on, okay, if a coelom lined with mesodermal epithelium, then it is called true coelom. Animals are called eucoelomate. Based on the mode of formation of coelom, in what mode the coeloms are formed. Based on that, the eucoelomate are classified into two types, zysocoelomate and enterocoelomate. What is the differentiate zysocoelomate and enterocoelomate is a 3-mark, children. Mark it immediately. In these animals, the body cavity is formed by splitting of mesoderm. Example, annelid, arthropod and mollusca. So that body cavity is formed by splitting of mesoderm. Then it is said to be what? Zysocoelomate. Example, annelids, arthropods, mollusks, etc. In enterocoelomate, the body cavity is formed from the mesodermal pouches of the Archenteron. So when the body cavity is raised from the body cavity is formed from the mesodermal pouches of Archenteron, then it is said to be what? Enterocoelomate animal. Example, echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. These all about what? The coelom. Next one is what, children? Segmentation and notochord. Okay, I will complete with this. In some animals, the body is externally and internally divided into series of repeated units called segments with a serial repetition of some organs. Okay, that is called metamerism. We can notice the earthworm. Earthworm has many segments in its external structure. This segment also followed internally also. So like that, some animals, the body is externally and internally divided into series of repeated units. This is called segments with a serial repetition of some organ. The simplest form of segmentation is found in Annelida, in which each unit of the body is very similar to the next one. So each unit, that is each segment of the body is similar to the next segment of the animal. But in arthropod, the segments may look different and has different function. But in arthropod, it is not like that. The segment also differ and the function also differ. And this is called what? Segmentation. Animals which possesses notochord at any stages of their development are called chordates. If animals which possess notochord in its developmental stages are called what? Notochord. Notochord is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure. What is notochord? It is a rod-like structure. Where it is derived? It is derived from mesoderm. And the dorsal side during embryonic development in some animals based on the presence or absence of notochord, animals are classified as chordates, cephalochordate, xerochordate, fishes to mammalia, and non-chordate, porifera to hemichordata. So based on the presence or absence of notochord, animals are classified as what? Yes, two types, chordate and non-chordate. Okay, children, let me stop with this. Okay, so your homework are 3 types of coelom. What is the differentiate diploplastic and triploplastic? Define a radially symmetrical animal, radially symmetrical, define bilateral symmetry. These are the homework for you. Complete, children, complete and submit the same. Many of you not even submit your homework. Please submit your homework immediately. Okay, children. So let's see in my next section. Bye.